Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher. And man, I really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel and spending some time with me on the video. I always never ever take that for granted, so I really appreciate it. Guys, today I've got a really good fishing tip for you guys for August and September. Really sort of like the mid part of August to the first part of September, which involves fishing a 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait under a certain set of conditions. If you get these conditions, which a lot of lakes have that type of water, this is one of the most consistent ways to catch bass this time of year that is normally some of the toughest fishing you're going to have all year long in August and September. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also, guys, just a quick reminder, I wanted to invite you to please check out our Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns we have up on the website right now. We got our summer breakdowns up, and these are maps I build for Fish the Moment, guys. It's a really good resource to learn more about any lake in the country almost. We got a ton of different lakes out there, different seasons of the year. It's got information you can download straight to your electronics unit. So I'll put the Fish the Moment lake map breakdown, the ones I build for Fish the Moment, in the link of this video if you guys would like to check that out. Really appreciate it. Okay guys, for probably about the last 25 years, this time of year in late August and September, these little 1/4 ounce lipless crankbaits are some of my most consistent producers. This is the Megabass Vibration X. This is the little 1/4 ounce rattle trap here. Also, guys, I'll link the lipless crankbait link in my tackle warehouse description of this video. If you guys need to pick up some, you can use that link. But these are my two primary weapons that I'm going to use for this technique. So let's talk a little bit about what you need to look for and if the lake that you have falls under these conditions. It's got to have a combination of these variables come together for this thing to work. The first thing that you have to have is you need to have some type of flatter banks with rock on it. This is what makes the technique pretty good. So ideally, guys, if you have a rocky bank, and it doesn't necessarily have to be super rocky, it can be gravel and rock mix. Sometimes I've even caught them on clay, just some type of a flat bank, preferably on the main part of the lake or in a main creek arm. This is not a deal where you want to go way back up in the creeks or anything. I prefer main lake, but you can also get on those big creek arms and find some of this type of water in it too. Flat banks, my ideal scenario would be where your boat is in, say, like 4 or 5 foot of water and you're maybe 50 feet away from the bank, a real flat slope. And it's best if it has some type of rocks on it. The best rocks are the flatter type rocks, combined with off-colored water. You need to have water visibility of, say, anywhere between, say, a foot to maybe 2 feet. 1 to 2 feet is an ideal scenario. Perfect for me would be about 15 inches of water visibility would be perfect, 12 to 15 inches. And then you need to have some type of wind. I like some type of a moderate wind. So if I've got an area where I've got, say, 12 inches of visibility in the water, got a nice flat bank with rock on it, and I've got like at least a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind blowing in on that bank, guys, you can take these little 1/4 ounce lipless crankbaits and just throw them out there in that really shallow water, and you would just freak out how many bass are up there that most people don't even fish for. And there's something about the lipless crankbait that will generate that strike when you can't catch them on anything else. I'll give you guys a prime example. I've got this one bank down at Grand Lake, and I've caught so many fish off this bank over the past 50 years. I can't even tell you how many. And it's just like what I'm describing. It's a flat bank that's got some rock on it. Every time of year, this time of year, I can go there and catch some fish. I've always been able to do that. And normally in the past, I'd go there and throw some type of a crankbait on it and catch a few fish. But anyway, about probably 20 years ago, I went fishing there with a buddy of mine. It was late August, and he wanted to catch some white bass. And I'd seen some white bass sort of coming up around the area here. And we went over to that bank, and I was throwing, I think, a square bill crankbait or some type of little small crankbait. And he was throwing a little 1/4 ounce rattle trap on that. And guys, he started whacking them on it, largemouth. And he'd catch 2 white bass, and he'd catch 2 largemouth. Then he'd catch 3 or 4 white bass, and he'd catch a largemouth on the little 1/4 ounce rattle trap. This exact one, the Tennessee shad, is the best color this time of year. Basically throwing it up there in this deep of water, keeping his rod tip high and just trying to keep it just sort of bouncing along the rocks. And ever since then, guys, I've utilized this on all over the country anytime that I can find that type of situation. Normally I'll fish it, just like on a 7-foot bait cast rod with like 15-pound test line. You can use a little bit heavier line on it. and just try to keep contact with the rocks. You don't want to throw it out there and just reel it through the water column, even in shallow. You want to be knocking those rocks with it. And you catch everything on it, guys. When those fish are using that type of water, you'll catch a drum, you'll catch catfish, you'll catch white bass, you'll catch snag carp on it because there's carp up there that shallow, and you'll catch a lot of largemouth bass as well. It's just one of those overlooked things. I mean, most people think of some type of a lipless crankbait, like a rattle trap or a Vibration X, as some type of a pre-spawn deal you fish over the grass in the cooler water, but it can be a really, really good bait in dirty off-colored water in the middle of the summer. I've also caught a few fish on it on the Fire Tiger model, on a little 1/4 ounce Fire Tiger, if you've got riprap that's in dirty water. I did good a couple times, like down at Lake Dardanelle in Arkansas, and some of that dirty river water, fishing riprap banks on it. So just another thing to add to your arsenal, guys. Get you some little 1/4 ounce lipless crankbaits. Get out there on those flat banks this month when it's hot and they're not biting anything else, and that'll get you some bites. I'm pretty confident. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.